Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel, and we continue the tanks that you should not sell, tanks that you should keep in your garage in terms of collectible tanks. So we are now down to tier 6, and there's a few good tier 6s, to be fair. A lot of them are the battle pass tanks, but to be fair, a lot of them are not great. However, there are a few tanks that I have picked out and that I think should always stay in your garage. So start off, we have the Cryos. Now, ultimately, it is a JG, a Jag Panzer IV, but actually very, very good. Now, the thing with this tank, it's not as good now than I used to think it was. It's still a good tank, it's still brutal, it's still got a fantastic DPM. However, the armor now is not as good as it once was. People know how to deal with this tank a lot easier than when it was first released, but you know, it's still a fantastic tank that should definitely stay in your garage. Now, with the tank, of course, the armor profile, as I've said, when you come up against tier 7 tanks, tier 6 tanks, they can deal with it a lot easier. However, if you do come up, if you're lucky enough to come up against tier 5 tanks, they will struggle to get through your armor. And as you can see here, this Firefly, no problem whatsoever getting through my armor. So yes, it is a difficult tank to bounce. I mean, what, 160 block damage I've got? I'm down to 58 HP, but I've still done the part. I've still done my part and got just over 2,000 damage. And we're not done yet. We are still going to get a couple more shots in. So we got one more tank, the Nashorn, and I'm just going to wait for him to turn around. And then as soon as he's not facing, we can turn around and get one final shot into him. So almost 2.5k damage done quite easily. Yes, we lost a lot of hit points, but we still managed to do it quite easily. And next up we have, which I think is the best battle pass tank, the Agent. Now, this is basically the VK2801, but in my opinion, much better. I love the little green laser. I love the camo for it. And honestly, this is not just a good tank, but this is a fantastic tank. Anyone that knows the old VK2801, back when it was overpowered, knows that just how good the tank is. So when Wargaming released the Agent, like, okay, fair enough, VK2801 is a good light tank, but honestly, it is such a fun tank to play. It's not just good, it is fun. Now, the only downfall, I think, with this tank, it does only have the 2 shells. So it doesn't have HE. You have AP, and then you have your premium ammunition as well. But it doesn't have HE. And sometimes you do come up against those tier 5s or those really light tanked armor. You know, this guy right here, if we got behind him, we could probably HE him and just do a little bit more damage. So it does suck that it doesn't have that 3rd shell, but overall, you know, the speed, the light tank abilities that this tank has got, which you're going to see in a short while. Now, we are up against tier 7s, and it can still hold its own against tier 7s, and that's what I love about the tank. The DPM is fantastic, the reload is short, and of course the speed of the thing is very, very quick as well. So you can get around the map very, very easily. So, you know, at the moment it is a 6 versus 4. We're just going to hide from this VK, knowing that our Skoda is behind him. I was hoping that me hiding, he would turn his attention to my my teammate, but no, he wants to go for me. No problem. But now that guy just gets ripped apart, and I am on my own. I just need to play it a little bit more safe, because I have 3 tanks all around me, so I have to be careful who I go for. And of course, getting one more shot into this guy may bring him down to a 1 shot, but now the SMV is coming, I do have to be very careful. So this is where I need to get out of there. This is where I need to use the light tank ability. So get around, get 1 shot into him, get around this SMV, don't allow him to shoot in me, at me, get 1 more shot into him, and then ignore him to go back for the VK to kill him. And then again, I can just circle this guy nice and easily, get 1 shot into him. Luckily, I do high roll, and he is now gone. And, you know, that overall was a very good game, especially the end bit. You know, I used the fact that it is a light tank to get the victory, and in my opinion, a well-deserved mastery badge. So just over 2,100 damage there. But, you know, overall, I think it was a good game. Next up, we've gone with the classic, the SU-100Y. Now, we went for this because it is a fun tank, especially if you can double these. In a platoon, 2 of these is actually very, very fun. Now, of course, it does have that weird shell where your standard AP has sort of less alpha, and then your premium AP has more alpha, but it has less pen. So it does kind of, it is kind of difficult if you are up against those tier 7s. I mean, not too difficult because there's not that many tier 7s with extremely strong armor. So if you do want to do more damage, you do have less pen. So I don't mind it, but if you're coming up against well-armored tanks, then you can struggle. And that's where you can just switch to the HE and do a bit of splash damage. And because of the alpha, you're still going to do splash damage. So that's not too bad. It does have high alpha. So again, it's fun. It has no armor. However, you can get troll bounces on the armor, and sometimes it's actually really frustrating coming up against an SU-100Y. Like, it's grey, you shoot, and you're like, how did that bounce? So it can be very, very frustrating when you come up against this tank. But I thought I have to add it in there. Now, I was going to add the TOG because, you know, I absolutely love the TOG. However, the TOG isn't a collectible, it is a premium, where Wargaming have turned this tank into a collectible. So that is why, if you're wondering why I didn't add the TOG, that is why. But overall, you know, those are just 3 tanks. And looking at tier 6, to be fair, there isn't that many that I would say, you know what, this has to stay in your garage. A lot of them I keep because they are collectibles and they're not worth that much if you do sell them. But yeah, the 2 at the start is definitely a must because they are very, very good, and this also has to stay in your garage. So let me know what 3 tanks you would pick to definitely keep. Do not sell these tanks at all. Let me know what 3 tanks you would choose. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all very, very soon. Bye bye.